Yes. But not like you would have. No. We did an introduction, so we didn't do the welcome.
Yeah, we didn't do the welcome. No pressure.
Yes. Welcome, Nitina, BurgundyGinger Events.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you all very much. All right, so come with me. Let's close our eyes. Literally, close your eyes. Okay. Walk with me. Imagine for the past 12 months, you've been planning your dream event. For someone, it could be your wedding. It could be a milestone birthday celebration. It could be a conference. Whatever it is that is your dream. You've been tirelessly planning for over a year. The night before your event, it's here, you got your good rest, you're in the bed early, 3 a.m., you remember, oh my God, I forgot to send a pivotal email to my caterer, to our keynote speaker, we had a venue change, and now everything's in peril. Okay, you can open your eyes. That particular feeling, all that anxiety, I had it when I was planning my wedding in 2017. That feeling, coupled with a strong desire to help everyone around me, is what started BurgundyGinger Events, and that's how we're here today. Yes, okay, so, okay, hold on. Okay, sorry, we'll get it. Okay, all right, I'm gonna have to tell you pause. What is the next slide? Okay, pause. My name is Nitina Francis. I am the owner, lead designer, one-woman show of BurgundyGinger Events. We specialize in event planning and coordination, which is really curation, execution, all the other adjectives, event design, as well as custom event rentals, marquees, and backdrops. So all the beautiful things that you see at events, we're usually lugging it in, tearing it down, doing one of those things. And go to the next. Okay. Sorry, it's gonna be a little struggling. Okay, all right, so as far as our brand, what is BurgundyGinger? Who is BurgundyGinger? When you think of BurgundyGinger, you want to think of consistency. We have a specific look in the way we design and the way we execute, and that has allowed us to really fine tune and curate our actual ideal customer. Finding our ideal customer took years because we used to just take any event. Like, you've got an event, come on, let's go. You got an event, let's go. We have to really fine tune our process, A, to be profitable, but B, to really say this is exactly the space that we feel we can maximize, as well as this is where we feel like our clients can best appreciate our efforts, right? We had to bridge the gap because, like I said, I was everywhere. I was doing something for $50, $100, what? No, so we had to fine tune that. Also, our event scale and our location. So one of the things I really tried to do was target highly profitable, highly visible venues. So if it's a new venue that I think, okay, the type of ideal client that I want would book there, I'm going there. I'm contacting them, making a styled shoot. So I try to do the legwork to maximize my footprint and minimize my effort, right? I used to go to, like I said, any venue around town. Now what I do is I fine tune my search and I say, hey, maybe their price point is $50,000, $30,000. That client has some discretionary income to pay me. A lot of my services are what we would consider like an extra. You don't need balloons. I believe you do. You don't need balloons. You don't need marquees to have a celebration. But that value add, when you have that discretionary income, is a no-brainer when you're in the right space. So that was a part of our strategic approach. Also, our scale. So one of the things I wanted to do, there was one year I think I did over 90 events. Right, okay, 90 events. And so after that, I have a young kid. That's not a sustainable model. So what I did was I wanted to increase my per spend for my customers to lower the amount of overall events I did. So right now we're at about 35, but we've doubled our revenue, right? Because I just reduced the amount, increased the scale of the event. And the event types that we specialize in corporate, non-for-profit, and private. So all of you could fall within that purview. You can have a private event, you've got not-for-profits in here, you've got corporate. And so our service offerings allow us to kind of bridge the gap between those key areas. If I can go to the next slide, please. Okay, some of our notable accomplishments. I'm gonna say every day is a notable accomplishment, but just for the sake of the argument, The Spectrum Pay It Forward program. So we were inducted into that particular program, and that is a program that Spectrum offers through the Chamber of Commerce, but we were awarded a $5,000 marketing credit. I hope somebody saw my commercial. It doesn't look like y'all did, but it was there. It was there. We also are a recipient of the Urban Business Connection Program Award. So what that means is they partnered with the Columbus Urban League, the Chamber of Commerce and the Columbus Urban League partner to allow Black businesses to receive scholarships to be members of their program. So we have a 3-year membership with the Chamber of Commerce. It has proven to be one of the most beneficial partnerships that I've ever had the chance to be a part of, because we not just book events with them, but they help us increase our footprint with corporate clients that we may not have access to. They also post us on their page. Like, there's a lot of things and offerings that you get when you're a member of the Chamber. I encourage any of you, it's called the Urban Business Connection. I don't see a lot of notes, but that's okay. Ask me later. If you can apply for the program, please do. If not, you can become a member of the Chamber. You don't have to live in Columbus. If you live in Pickerington, they have a chamber. Reynoldsburg has a chamber. I would encourage you to look at what the benefits are, because that is an area that can increase your footprint without you having to be everywhere at once. Okay, one of my proudest things is we've increased our revenue, guys. Listen, 75% over the last 3 years. And thank you, in event dollars, like, that's a big deal, because that means that I had to be there, right? That 75% is like 75% more effort for me, but it also means that what I'm doing and what we're implementing is working. One of the other things I'm most proud about is the introduction of new products into the event market. So the Columbus market is naturally very conservative, like, we follow trends, but what we've been able to do is bring some new products that allow us to be ahead of trends. So really excited about that. And so, yeah, we're trying to get to this money, honey. Okay, next, please. Even with our accomplishments, we do have some challenges like any other business. Access to capital has been a little bit of a challenge for me. We all need the dollars, but right now we're looking to acquire a company truck and then warehouse space. Balloons, all these rentals and things, like, they take up a lot of space. I've got a lot of storages, it's a little hectic, but we're looking for capital so we can just purchase those things. Brand awareness. So one of the things that we want to do is work more with corporate clients. We're trying to expand in that area. And then also consistency in our revenue. Like, some months we really hit it. Other months it's like, ooh, it's a little shaky. So we want to have consistency in our revenue, and then staffing. We work on a contractor basis. So depending on the scale of the event, we might have 7 people, we might have 3. But we want to have 2 to 3 full-time people that we can depend on. So if we want to go to the next slide, please. This is a little bit of my work. Get into it. Wow. So this is pause it here. If you can pause it, please. So I wanted to show you the gamut of what we have the capacity to do, right? Like, I see pretty, but when I see this, I'm like, oh, I see a couple that looks very happy. I see another couple. I see, you know, but I mean, it ranges the gamut. And so our goal is for our clients to see themselves in our event. That's what helps you spend. When you see yourself, you're like, oh my God, I would love to feel like that. Yes, we want you to feel like that too. So we can head to the next slide. This is a little bit more of our work. Wow. Okay. I also put this here because I, again, want you to see the gamut of our service offerings. So, like, these are our marquees, obviously our balloons. This is one of our newest products, which is our neon numbers. And I mean, it's about having people, like, get into it. We're really excited about all of our events. And then also, this is like in line with my strategic model, right? All of these venues, like, this is their home, but all these venues are really highly visible. They have really good followings on Instagram. Like, all of those things tie into making one cohesive experience. Okay. And are there any questions? That concludes my presentation. Good job.
That's good information about the chamber. I've always known about it, but never joined it. Somebody hit me in the head.
You have to.
This is another one. Thank you.
Immediately.
It was urban.
So the program itself is called the Urban Business Connection. That's the program. You can't be a member without being part of the program, but you have to pay out of pocket. The program gives you a scholarship Now the caveat is it's an annual, so they just did the second cohort. You might have to apply for the third. Yeah.
So my question, it might be a repeat. So you find the venue for me. I'm having a 10th-year wedding anniversary, so
Okay.
I'm gonna have a party,
Yeah.
right, for it. So
Okay.
you would then, I would pay you to find the venue.
Yeah,
and
so
you would-
if that's what you were looking for, right? So our services you can come to us and say, hey, I want a coordinator, I already have this space, this is what I need. We'll work with you on that, create a proposal and a budget for you based on that. If you say, hey, we need you to do full service, then we will come and start the whole process, find a venue, do venue sourcing, vendors, all of that. So it really just depends on what your budget and your needs are.
Gotcha. And then do you have I know you said you're a one-woman show, you do it all. So do you have other people to source, like for those balloons? Were you up doing those balloons
Yes.
too, or did you have somebody
I
else?
was up. I'm up.
Wow. Okay.
I'm up. No, so I am up. That's happening. But we also have contractors based on the event. So right now, because I don't have a warehouse space, I work out of my home, I have to do the brunt of like the actual prep. The goal is once I have a neutral location, I can have somebody be independently working there, and then I can come in later on. But right now, we're just still in the phase of like working from home.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And get with me after if you ever need help, like logistics wise, like
Okay.
tables, chairs, getting stuff moved.
Yeah.
Holler at me, I can definitely help you.
Okay, music to my ears.
Yeah.
Love that.
Any other questions?
No question.
God, I was thinking that too. I was about to look at you.
So
with
I
your
was
trucks,
excited to
like-
see that you are going after the corporate dollars, because
Yes.
that is, they've got money to spend.
Yes.
What have you tried so far to open up those doors, or what have you found they respond to best in your pitches?
So one of the things that I'm learning, I was in a program for Goldman Sachs, like 1 Million Small
Oh,
Businesses.
yeah.
Yeah, so I just in that program, I just finished it. And one of the things they talk about is corporate clients don't want to take a risk, right? So you have to be a proven vendor. So one of the things I do is like I show all of maybe the businesses that I've worked with that are in maybe their like line of business, or corporate clients that also align with like their vision, or whatever it is that shows you're not taking a risk. This is like a proven thing. I also talk about like how much infrastructure we have, like all the ways that are going to mitigate risk when I speak with them. That's like I lean into that. Also, the chamber has been really helpful. I lean into my relationship with them. So I'm like, oh, I work with the chamber all the time. They already took the risk. You don't have to. You know what I mean? So I lean into what I've already done. If I haven't done anything, like for example, I just got approved. I'm very grateful. I'm going to be doing balloons for Columbus Commons. I know, I'm so excited. She took a risk on me. She saw my work at the chamber. She was like, okay. And then I had to meet with her. Okay. And you know what I mean? Like we tiptoed. But I was like, here, I'm here now. I kicked the door in. We're here now. Let's go. So those are the kind of ways I present. Leverage their risk and mitigate the risk. Yeah.
Okay, so I had 2 questions.
Okay.
Can you repeat explain what's your goals over the next 5-10 years?
5-10 years, girl. Get my kid through school. No. Okay.
Well,
So.
yes.
No, so, okay, as far as the next 5 years, the goal is to not just be working in Ohio. At the price point that we're at, we're gonna price out of Ohio here very soon. So I have to find other markets that can support like my current offerings. That's number 1. Number 2, we wanna have multiple streams of income that stem from planning and coordination, but align with that, right? So we're gonna be opening a venue. We're going to be doing like some mobile services that align with like the actual planning and coordination. And then finally, we want to be known in this city as the premier place for balloons, marquees, backdrops. Like when you think of those things, I want you to think of BurgundyGinger first and then go backwards. That is 3rd. 4th, I don't want to be the face every day. Like I want to have somebody else who can come and say, hey, I'm leading this event. I'm leading these things. We want to have like 5 or 6 people. So it would be like Jay at BurgundyGinger Events, Ski at BurgundyGinger Events. Like that's the goal. Those are the top 4 things.
Okay, great. Okay, so then my next question would be, what do you feel like is the biggest obstacle that you have towards scaling?
Okay, so right now with the business model that I have, it's limited by like the amount of things I can do. So right now, because it is heavily dependent on my labor, I can only be in so many places at once. So literally Saturday was very crazy. I had to be in Lima and Dublin at the same time, so I had to get another person. The goal is to either mitigate that where we have multiple people who are working simultaneously, or we have to adjust our business model where it's not solely dependent on my work alone. That would be like the biggest gap right now.
Hi, my name is Kendall, and I wanted to know, when is your next event so we can like actually see it and you know?
Well, this weekend I'm off, okay? So next weekend, actually the 9th, so the Commons. If you go to the Commons, you'll see our stuff there. July 9th, I think it's a concert. Yeah, concert. We can take pictures. You can check our Instagram. I forgot to put that. Oops. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you just talked about is like a problem that I'm having
Yeah.
as well, and I know a lot of us small business. I'm a marketing consultant, and so I, at this stage, capacity is a real issue, and so it's not like just like saying it's an issue is not really giving it justice to the situation. So like your situation is if you get sick, right? If I get sick, everything stops, right? So nobody's going to be able to work and pick up on my proposals and the things that I have out there. And I know we are trying to address it for you. How significant of a problem do you see it? I mean, and what sense of urgency is it something like that you go to bed and wakes you up at night, that sort of thing?
No, my kid wakes me up, so I can't even afford to let that wake me up. But no, in all honesty, it does. When COVID first started, that was, I mean, every single event I was just shaking because I'm like, oh my God, if I really go down, not only does this ship go down, like I don't know if I can bring it back up. So I've been fortunate enough where like I haven't been overly sick, but we are blessed enough to have an infrastructure of event planners and other event friends that we can at least start with. My mom can dibble and dabble in events. Like we have some things in place. It's not something I want to lean on, but it is something that if I'm trying to transition my mind to like a CEO mindset where I'm thinking 5 years ahead, I have to work as diligently on my craft as I do in trying to create an infrastructure that can support it without me. Because ultimately that's the goal, like the business should run without me having to do all the things. That's what I want to do. So right now, like I had to set money aside to like get an assistant. I'm taking the hit right now, but that's what I have to do. So I set money aside so I can pay them. I cap the hours because we're not there yet. But as we get there, we have to really invest in that part because ultimately I'm trying to buy my time back. If I'm really trying to do this seriously, I'm buying my time back because that's more valuable to me. So that's where I'm at. No, I mean, I get anxious. I'm not gonna lie to you. I hurt my back the other day. Whoop! Lifting this heavy backdrop, but I powered through it. But no, I have to think about that because it is very important. So that would be my tip. Let's invest in how we can get that in place now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've got a question for you. So you mentioned earlier that you went from 90, I believe it was, events in 1 year down to 30.
We're only 35 now.
35?
Yeah.
You just kind of answered a little bit. You said you have a network of folks.
Yes.
So I'm assuming all of that business that some of that would have been repeat business that came back, and maybe you didn't have capacity or they weren't at the level.
Yeah,
that
they weren't at
you
the
wanted to
level.
work with. So how do you deal with that? Did you like send them to one of your friends in the network, or how do you manage that?
Usually my price weeds them out. My price weeds them out naturally. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I also, like in the imagery that I posted, everything that I posted was like, this is where I'm at. I want you to come with me, but if you can't sustain it as a client, that's fine. There are people who can help you. It's just not me. So I didn't actually steer them away. I very rarely tell people no, because the people who come to me have an inkling or insight. Like we increased our minimum. We did a lot of things to really fine tune who is attracted to our work.
So is there anybody in your network that sometimes you refer them to? That
Yeah, there
might
are
be a better
people.
fit?
There are people, and I kind of give them, okay, I want to be very fair in saying this. Oftentimes, price point can align with the experience you'll have with the customer. So I'm very aware and sometimes leery of sending them to my friends because I don't want them to have a bad experience. I just say, hey, listen, there are other people. That's it.
Okay, last question.
Yeah.
Lo, you had your hand up? I'll come up there. So, I'll walk us off. So, thinking about these friends that you have, and one of the issues is you need space. You need,
Yes.
warehouse space.
Yes.
Have you thought about, or do you think it's feasible to kind of band together with this network of planners that you have, and
Yeah.
everybody kind of pitch in on a
Yeah.
shared space, and maybe even shared resources to some extent to be able to scale that a little better?
I haven't, we've discussed it like in passing. We haven't actually created like a plan or sat down and done it. I will say I take up probably the most space because I'm on both sides. Like I do planning, I have meetings, but I also have like 600 square feet worth of stuff. So for them, sometimes it doesn't work because they're like, I just need office. I don't want to pay for it. So it's not something I'm opposed to. Let me say it like that. I'm open to it. If you have space, let me know.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you come up with your pricing?
Okay, so it's like a multi-tiered system, but depending, so on the planning side, it's really in alignment with what the rest of the market's charging. I just see what the rest of the girls are charging, and I try to be within like a few $100s of that. As far as my balloon designs, I do, like, I have a formula, so I do like my actual like raw material cost, my time. I do my material cost times 3, my time, and then I have a delivery fee. So I usually start there. And then I'm very visual, so I look at the images that they sent to me, and then I go off that too.
Okay, great. I'm sorry,
No, you're fine.
well, great. I mean, afterwards, definitely we should talk.
Yes.
It sounds like you have a great formula. Just wondering if you're accounting for scaling. So, like, is that in your model as well? Because you talked about how, like, it being you, and so does that give room for you to be able to hire people and effectively be profitable? And then, like, how long will it take you to be profitable? Which is not something you got to answer. It's something that
No, you're good. No, you're fine. No, we're profitable. Thank you. Thank God for that. Now, the level of profit, we want more, but we are profitable. So one of the major things was, like, when we invested in the marquees, that was a big investment, and it took 3 rentals to make my money back per letter, and I have like 75. So I had to, like, I just took a hit for a whole year, and now, like, every time I rent it now, like, that's money. I just keep it all.
Well, again, you don't have to.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Ask away.
If you're profitable, I'm saying let's have an offline conversation.
Let's have it.
So we
can definitely. That's fine. Yeah, we can do that. That's it. Yeah.
I just want to know, are you accepting sponsorships?
Listen, whatever. We can talk about what the sponsorship
Because I know
looks
you
like.
got like banners and stuff and just...
Oh, yeah. I see where we're going. We can talk about it.
Okay.
We can talk about it. Yeah.
I got a question.
Oh, I love this. All the questions are really energized.
It's kind of one question and
Okay.
2 comments.
Okay.
First of all,
Yeah.
what would you say was the choice that got your name out there first?
Okay.
So when it comes to marketing,
Okay.
what's been the biggest bang for your buck?
I got you. Okay, so it's a twofold. I got fired, and I had to go full time with this. I didn't have a choice. So a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm planning to go full time. I got fired, found out I was pregnant, and like, we here now, COVID. It was literally like boom, 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 boom. So I had no choice but to hit the ground hard. So the one thing I did was I chose to do a very specific formula on my Instagram. I saw that most of my customers were coming from Instagram. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lean into Instagram. So every time I do an event, as much as I can, I do 1 video, 2 photos. So anytime you see my Instagram, it's the same formula all the way across. So people look for the videos, the 2 pictures. It's easy for me to maintain, easy for them to see. That would be like the primary thing that got me. Like my Instagram, I got serious about that and it got better. Secondly, I started doing, with the little money that I had, I started doing style shoots and connecting with vendors that I actually felt like aligned with where I want to go. So if I don't know, I can't speak to your industry, but like, for example, if there's a planner that I wanted to work with that had really good content, if there's a venue that I would literally call them and say like, hey, can I come? Hey, can I visit? So then I would leverage their following, their everything to do what I needed to do. those are the top 2 things. Instagram for me was like the money maker. Whatever you're
Perfect. No, that's exactly what I want to hear. The second was kind of a comment
Yeah.
on the being a small business and
Yes.
hitting your hourly. I would just like to say that whole concept made me change the type of services that I offered years ago.
Okay.
Because I recognized I can only sell so many of my hours. So that
Yeah.
worrying about that actually made me change. So that is a real issue that I believe it's kind of lucky that we have that problem, right? We've worked ourselves into that situation.
Right.
What
Yeah.
next? So I guess it's a natural part of growth. And then lastly,
Yes.
into what you kind of just said, and him with the sponsorships. Are there opportunities for these events? So now
Yeah.
I'm seeing you're putting on some bigger events. So there's are there other opportunities to make money through your other vendors, like the sponsorship, or even for them, right? Like when I think of events, and I think of, I'm pointing at you guys for content creation. So. And again, I say that because my daughter's in that. I feel like we're really close to videographers, right? People, photographers that are already at these events.
Yes.
Do you see any way for you to make money bringing in your own vendors, or do you do that now?
Yes and no. So I think for me, a lot of people are booking me. I'm not necessarily like coordinating a private event for myself, if that makes sense, right? So like it's your event, I'm doing the work for you. So as far as like bringing my own vendors, the most I do is like a photographer so I can get content for myself, a videographer so I can get content for myself. One of the goals I have is to start facilitating my own event. So it's like Burgundy Ginger presents brunch, whatever the heck, okay? Speaking of which, Sunday we're gonna be doing a brunch at the Key. Okay, if you wanna get into it, a little day party. We're doing the decor for that, but that would be an example of where I could bring you in because I am a part of the curation team. So yes, that's the long term. That's one of the things we're working with the chamber on, being like a lead on, it's called the social circle. We're gonna start doing like more socially focused events for business owners, regular people here in town, and teaching about like new spots in the city. Like for example, I didn't know the Columbus Library has an entrepreneurial wing downtown. Did y'all know? Get into it, write it down please. They have an entrepreneurial wing, like computers, classes, free stuff. So we're trying to get, and they do after hours, like you can do late night stuff there. News, I just learned that. So those are the kind of things that I would like to do. Is it free?
Yes, there's
Actually, I think we can.
Yep.
I think we can. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so how long have you been in business?
This is my 6th year in business,
Okay.
3rd year full time.
3rd year full time. All right, so I've been in Columbus all my life, and I've been, like I said, in marketing, so I've run across a lot of event planners. You are something else. You have probably really kind of shook up some of these event planners in Columbus.
Listen.
So competitively
The girls
speaking,
are lucky.
right now you're either burying a lot of people or you're making them have to lift their
Yes,
game.
that's our
So I guess my question is, outside of that comment, is who do you see in Columbus as, or currently where you're as your competition, your lead competition, and how are you dealing with the reaction to your entry into the market?
I mean, the real answer is no one. But on paper, there are like 2 or 3 businesses that are franchises that offer what we offer, and that is where they actually can scale. So that is the biggest competitor. There is a company called Alpha Lit Columbus. So they're Alpha Lit Cleveland, Alpha Lit Chicago. They provide you with the infrastructure to do marquee letters. You invest, they give it to you, boom. I didn't have it. I had to buy letter piecemeal by piecemeal. So that would be the main competitor, and she does balloons. She does, the only difference is she doesn't do backdrops. I can do the backdrop, and then I can do the full event for you. Competitively, I would say that's the top. The other area, from a planner perspective, there are because we're in the planner space, but we're not of the planner space. Like overtly, event planners are our competitors, but we don't, like I don't lean into weddings as much as I used to. I would prefer to do a social thing because it's less stress when the weddings come, like, ooh. So yeah, I would say outfit is like primary, and then yeah, other planners, you know, we're here to work. I'm here to get my money and go home. That's it. Yeah.
So we already established that you're fired. Okay, we get that. And congratulations on the resiliency to push through those significant things. Right? Yeah, so getting fired, having a child, COVID, like holy cow.
What?
So how, like, what's the background then? What is the background
background?
of you? How did you
Yeah.
get to that point? Are
Okay.
you just a natural,
Yeah.
God bless business entrepreneur
No.
genius, or some classes?
I wish.
How did you get there?
No, okay, so my background is I have a bachelor's in like international business. So my original goal is I'm gonna be an ambassador. I'm not seeing y'all here in Columbus, I'm gonna be in New York, moving and shaking, really setting the ground on fire with like changing the world. That was the goal. Didn't happen. Okay, so now it's like plan B. I was gonna be an analyst. Really hitting the ground with those spreadsheets. No, didn't work out there. So now I'm like, okay, I always had a knack for being in the front. Just like I'm the oldest, I'm always in the front. I didn't love it, but here I am. So when I was 17, I actually planned like our school prom. And I was like, okay, cute. Got to college. I was in a community service organization. I was always planning something. Okay, cute. Again, I just didn't bridge the gap and connect the dots. I got out of school. Part of my resiliency is I have a mom and a dad who are very unwavering. I'm the child of immigrants. So inherently, like, no is not really an option. In the sense of like, you don't just accept no. Like, it's a why. You know what I mean? And my mom has a saying that says, no doesn't break friendship. So they tell you no, we on to something else. Like, what's next? And so for me, obviously, I'm a God-fearing woman, so that has been the catalyst and the crux. Also, I just don't know how to sit down. Like, if somebody tells me, I really don't know how to sit down and be like, okay, we're gonna sit in it, we're gonna just wallow in it. You know, and I have friends, Jay's my best friend, and she'll always be like, it's time. It's time to go. Like, you don't have time. And you're right, I don't have time. And so it's just been like the pursuit to try to help somebody have a better experience than I did. That's always been like what drives me personally. But I'm not gonna lie to you, there are days when I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm tired of sweating. In this 97-degree heat, this is not cute. I don't want this. But at the same time, if I say no to what I've been called to do, somebody else doesn't get a yes. So that's been the primary driver.
Awesome. Well, we have one last question
Okay.
that we ask all of our presenters. And
Yes.
that is, what can we as a community do for you?
Let's get to that. Let's get to that list, honey. Let's get to that
I think you bring it
list.
out their notebooks.
I mean, he told me to get serious about what my ask. No, okay, so one of the things I would love for everybody to do, please follow me, BGE_balloons. That's my Instagram that we're gonna give to the group. So boy, girl, Edward _balloons. We're gonna start there. That's number one. Number two, I don't want it to be like, oh, book with me and I would love if everyone in here could think about what were they missing at their last event. Like something you went to and you're like, what could have been better? And then like, let's connect and think about like, can this align with Burgundy Ginger? Number three, I think for me, obviously like I put my needs, right? Like, and they're big scale needs. So if there was access to like some type of like portal where I could find like the grants or the funding or here's the workspace. Like is there a collective thing where like you can share information for the group?
Not through 1MC, but there are some lists. We actually had one of our presenters, she was curating a list as well. I have to go through our past presenters and do some research and get back.
I think there should be one for 1MC so we can just find it. Maybe that's the takeaway. Here we are. So I mean that would be, for me, that would be the main thing. Obviously book with me, let's go, let's book. But I think that would be like the big thing for me. Follow me, and I want to connect with you all. Like I told my story, I'm appreciative of everybody listening, but I know that there are nuggets within what I told today that connect to each of you. We might not have time today, but please like reach out, let's chat, let's talk. I would love to be a part of everyone's story. So that's it. That's what we're doing.
Awesome, thank you. Don't move, we gotta give you
Don't
your
move.
1 Million Cups cup
Ooh,
for presenting.
there is a cup here. There's gifts. We love gifts. Oh, please, come on, find the angles. Find the angles. Oh, it's like a shake cake. Oh, this is cute. Okay, wait, am I on the top? We have to, yeah. My God, there were like 3 pictures. Thank you so much. I mean, it is what it is. The light's a little. Oh, that's fine. That was better. That was better. Cute. Okay, thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
No, thank you.
All right, guys, well, that concludes our presentation and Q&A for today.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming out. Appreciate your grace. I'll start just a few minutes late. I think we got it. You got it in there.
We did.
Okay, so yeah, so feel free to hang out, mingle, engage, connect, and we'll see you guys. Oh, important PSA.
Yes.
Next week, the 5th would be the Wednesday. It's the day after the 4th. We're gonna take a break, right? Everybody take a break. We're not gonna have a session here next Wednesday, but we will the following Wednesday. We already have presenters lined up. So we'll put that out in the newsletter. Tell your friends for those that didn't come today that you know, and just spread the word a little bit. But we'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time. Thank you again so much for coming out. We'll see you guys later.
Thank you.
Credit card thing, where's the code? You tried again?
No. Are you serious? What?
Wait, when is this QR code scan? Okay, so nobody. Dude, that's your scanner. Open your regular camera.
She just doesn't believe that she was you do the whole so that's all. So she's working since
It's so nice to meet you. Thank you.
I saw it. Looks like it.
Now, would you say that's because of the cost? Would you say
that's not our
the driver's cost?
Yeah, absolutely. That QR code scanner, that, leave that side. That's unfortunately pretty common. The scanner apps were just notorious for having injecting like ads and websites that she didn't go to. And so that's why the companies, in part, why absolutely Google and all that just built it in. Yeah, they just built it into the stuff. Oh my goodness, yeah. Do a reverse on that thing.